Well, hello again, everyone. Welcome to our latest webcast that we're bringing you from Travel Weekly. I'm actually in Antalya at the Jet2 Holidays VIP Agent Conference. I'm here with Steve Heapy, who is, of course, the CEO. And it's a pretty upbeat mood, I think. We had some great stats yesterday from Lloyd around a big increase in trade sales and also an increase in the average selling price. So it seems to be going well through the trade for you, Steve.
I think so, yeah. We've had a very good year. We announced our interim results last week, and despite the economic pressures that we've had, people seem to want to go on holiday. We've seen the sales of lottery tickets down, gym memberships down, meals out, streaming services all down, but the holiday has remained strong, and I think people want to go on holiday. Why wouldn't you? Get away from what's going on in the country. It's good for mental health, and I think people are protecting the purchase of the holiday over many other things.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that is great news. And we've just heard you announce some new destinations as well this morning.
Yeah.
So just want to tell us about the 4 new destinations for 24 and 25.
Yeah, we've seen the reappearance of the Istrian Riviera, Pula, in the north of Croatia. We've got the lovely city of Porto, which is, I would recommend Porto, it's fantastic. And then it's very nice.
Have you tried that?
I have lots of it. I'm somewhat of an aficionado.
Oh yeah, I thought you might be. Yeah, good. It's important that you test every destination, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we've got the Indian Riviera, including the island of Simi.
Okay.
So
nice.
for off-roads we do that. So that's 4 new destinations. Very exciting.
Yeah. And of course your new base at Liverpool, and then you also announced that every one of your bases has got new routes, new flying from it. So you're not standing still. I think that's what Zoe just said. When you've reached this #1 position, but you don't want to rest on your laurels.
That's right, yeah. Every base is getting more routes. Every base is getting more capacity, whether that's longer seasons or more aircraft or bigger aircraft. So every one of our 10 existing bases benefits. And of course, we've welcomed some travel agents from our new base at Liverpool, which opens at the end of March.
Yeah, got a bit of a cheer.
It did, yeah.
I'm sure you're not involved in brochures, but that got a good cheer because you're changing your brochure, or you're keeping your luxury. You've got your new city breaks, and then you're switching up away from the Find Your Destination to a new city break. Beaches brochure, which is got a massive cheer in there.
Yeah, Zoe and Alan did quite a big piece of work, as you saw in there, speaking to travel agents, seeing what they wanted, because it's all right sat in head office in a travel bubble saying, oh, this is what we want to do. But we spoke to travel agents and they told us what they wanted, and we didn't get it right. But we've got some guidance now, and I think we've got the right range, and there were big cheers. I was quite surprised, actually.
It's good. It's good. Well, anything that helps them sell
of course.
Is good. All right, let's just talk about the industry generally. You know, it's obviously very good for you so far. It's looking promising for next year, as you say, given the sort of the economic indicators and things. But there are some concerns. It's a bit too much capacity for next year, short-haul capacity. It's gone up a lot. We have got some agents a little bit nervous that there might be a lot of discounting. What's your view on that, Steve?
Well, I think there's a bit of a confusion and misunderstanding when people talk about capacity, because very often they're talking about the sum of the atoll licences. But of course, the sum of the atoll licences isn't capacity. Capacity is airline capacity. And many of the top 10 atoll holders have no airline capacity.
Okay, so they're getting licensed for more seats. They're saying they might sell that much, but it doesn't mean they're definitely going to if the actual airline seats aren't there.
Exactly, yeah. So travel agents, understandably, are a bit worried, but there is plenty of capacity out there. If you look at the top 10 atoll holders, about 6.7 million are for online dynamic packages. They are competing with the travel agents, 6.7 million. Yeah. So the travel agents, as we've discussed, we've got to make sure that we get people in off the high street, get people in the shop. Don't let them go to an online travel agent. Get them in the shop and let them book. And that capacity will come to the travel agents rather than going to the online travel agents.
So you're not worried about some kind of blood bath or too much discounting, providing everything stays as it is and the demand continues?
If we have a year like this year, I think it'll be fine. Of course, what we don't know is what's going to happen geopolitically or economically. But, all things being equal, I think we'll be in a good place. But One thing to make sure we do have a successful year is for travel agents to fight to get the customers, fight to get them in off the high street, and the online packages are trying to take business away from the travel agents. The travel agents have got high street rents and lots of salaries to sell. They need to sell holidays.
And when you say they should fight, and of course this is so pertinent because your theme this year of your conference is fight or flight.
Yeah.
But what should you do? Is it you talking about making sure they're marketing? I mean, we heard Tony Mann from Idle Travel yesterday just saying you can't stand still. You just can't wait for it to come in. You've got to go and get that business. You've got to be out there in front of mind, getting your name in front of people.
Tony's right, and that's why Tony's successful. A lot of travel agents during the pandemic changed their models. They couldn't sit on the high street waiting for people to walk through the doors because you weren't allowed on the high street. Yeah. So they started social media marketing, they started reaching customers in other ways, they started doing outbound calling, looking through the previous customers, getting in touch with them. And
so that's what you mean by fighting?
Yeah, and I guess maybe some travel agents don't do that to the same extent because the high streets are open, but we've got to give people a reason to come into the town centre because, I'm passionate about town centres and I want them to get busier in the future, but many of the town centres, there's not a lot there.
Yeah.
In my town centre, there's not a lot of shops there at all, big chains, and Wilko's shut down, which was probably the biggest one. So we've got to get people to come into the town centre and not wait for them to walk past.
Yeah. Okay.
So reinvigorate the models that these people started using during the pandemic, and that will get people in.
Yeah. Another thing you're passionate about is travel agents or sales through the trade, and as I say, we heard some great figures about how they're growing their business, but of course you've got EasyJet Holidays who have really made a play for the trade and doing very well, announced results this week where they said the trade sales have been good. We had TUI announcing this week as well that they'd had significant double-digit growth in their trade sales on the back of their change in strategy to try and court agents again. So you're now competing, you were kind of out there on your own being that player with the trade for a long while, and you've now got competition from at least two players, of course, but in terms of the big guys. How does that sit with you?
Well, it's very flattering that they've copied our model. It's more competition. I'm a big believer in competition. It improves quality and it lowers prices for consumers at the end of the day. So I think competition is a really good thing, and I think travel agents have to remember that we have been building relationships with them for the last 14 years. TUI have been in and out, pick them up, drop them. Inconsistent. This time is going to be different. Well, we'll see. But what we do know is that consistently we've had great relationships with these travel agents over the last 14 years, and it will continue. We build long-term strategic relationships, not just short-term relationships when it's convenient. We've got a proven track record, and I would urge agents to look at the proven track record.
So they've got more choice now, but you're saying you're very confident that what you're offering will make sure you are still first choice?
Yes.
Not
first choice.
We both thought the same thing there.
We did, yeah.
Not first choice, I know what you mean. Okay, but you're confident in your position because you've put in the groundwork. Okay. We're in a very busy thoroughfare. We should apologise for that. Lots of door opening. But just very quickly, you gave a presentation yesterday around sustainability.
Yes.
It was interesting. I talked to quite a few agents about it last night because they're saying we don't really think about it day to day, but they were really quite shocked at the figures that you were starting to quote around the taxation levels, the legislation that's coming down the line. It's already high for you, but it's coming down the line and it's significant. And you said yesterday, you either go bust because you've got to take it on yourself, or you're going to have to pass it on to the consumer, so prices are going to go up, and that agents need to know that. So even if they're not being asked about it by consumers, it's very, very important, and you want to fight for the industry, don't you?
I do, yeah. We'll be communicating with the industry and our customers in the next few weeks, because the government is pursuing a policy of demand management, which means they'll keep putting prices up to lower demand.
You're fighting the case for the industry. You're taking it to government, but you want them to get involved. You're going to create a templated letter so they can send it to their MPs just to sort of ask them what their view is on the aviation policy.
Yeah, they have to be held to account. The recommendation from the government's advisory body is that taxation must keep rising to increase prices to lower demand.
Yeah.
To put it another way, they want to take away the right of many people to have a holiday. To put it another way, they want to make flying something for the rich and privileged.
Yeah.
And that's wrong.
Yeah.
And we should be holding our politicians to account, particularly in the run-up to what next year will be a general election year.
Okay. I wanted to ask you a lot more about sustainability, but you're actually coming to our summit tomorrow.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll pick this conversation up, because you are doing so much at Jet2 Holidays around, you know, how you're making sure your carbon emissions are low, and you're doing everything. But we need to make sure the government knows and not keeps penalising the aviation industry.
Exactly.
I thought the most fascinating thing you said yesterday was the survey you did, where you asked consumers how much they felt aviation was contributing to CO emissions.
Yeah.
Consumers think it's 20%.
22%, and the actual number is 2.4. So the perception is we're 9 times more polluting than we actually are.
Which is shocking, and we need to get that message across so that we're not penalised.
Exactly. Shall we do part 2 tomorrow?
Let's do part 2 tomorrow. Steve, thank you for your time. Enjoy the rest of your conference. Everyone's loving it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.